could you please describe your farm business?
Well, the farm business, we are located here just south of Dinwiddie County, in Brunswick County, a place called Warfield. And we've been here since 1908. Started off raising sweet potatoes and collard greens. And then from that, we had ventured out by going to workshops at Virginia State and teach us some new ideas.
Brown, do you have anything to say? Because you're basically going to take over the farm, so in a way you're a beginning farmer and he's a seasoned farmer.
I guess the main plan is just to keep things going and, lead a place better than it was when I got it. My dad got it, he put a lot of work in and got it all situated and kind of, we incorporated different innovative ideas. So, my goal is to continue that on and expand and build on a market because, you can raise all of this produce, but you have to have a market to get rid of it. So a lot of things that I do here on the farm is get towards marketing, and I do help with the labor and everything also. I feel like, that's something I got to do for my family's heritage to keep it going and kind of try to branch and evolve into a new innovative market with these vegetables and fruit.
Could you say how many acres you actually are growing on?
The farm altogether is 116 acres. That's a little bit of open land and also including forested land. As far as vegetable production, we probably rotate around 3 acres over the course of a year, maybe 3.5 acres. Not at one time. We don't never really have 3 acres in at one time, but going from the spring to the fall, it kind of rotates around to be altogether around 3 acres or a little bit more.
Where do you market and what types of market outlets do you currently use?
We have been marketing, because I started marketing and people like the product and they like the produce, and a lot of times they come here. And my son, he has gotten into the web marketing on like Facebook.
I think your goals always change because, it's always innovation. It's always something new. It's always new concepts. Prices change. The market changes, different things become popular. As we all know, the Know Your Farmer, Know Your Food campaign has took off, and now everybody wants to eat local and buy fresh and eat organic, and farmers markets are popping up everywhere. So I think a lot of people are getting into the vegetable business and the produce business because of that, because the market is there now versus in the past where it might have been a smaller market. Now it's a larger market. So I think a goal-driven process, it has to be put in place to expand and keep up with the times and kind of just continue to produce a quality product. My goal, I work full-time also. So, my goal, I would love to be able to have this place running on its own and I didn't have to have a main source of income from another form of employment. If I could be here and work and make everything work out good and it can be something that's be worthwhile, I would love that. And, in the future, I would like to see this place kind of get into the agritourism
that's what
industry.
I was thinking about.
Because
even the write-up is so beautiful, and it's right off the main road.
Yeah.
It's not far.
Yeah. So it's right off the highway.
Good ideas for that.
Agritourism, we're getting there now. Because all of this here used to be woods, like how that is back there. All of this used to be in trees like that back there.
Yeah.
So actually, we got a guy he wants to for this probably be one of our first biggest ventures that we want to do. Well, one of my cousins, he's questioning maybe hosting his wedding here. So
that's so awesome.
We may try to, get in to do that type of thing. And like I said, we got the baseball field, and maybe in the future we can continue to incorporate different things every year. And then in 5 or 10 years, it can be all set up and ready to go.
I don't know if you know this, but there's like a new professor, Dr. Michelle Mosley. She does agritourism. She got her doctorate in that.
Oh, wow.
And better bring her to talk to you because her actual study was event planning, at farms and how to do it. So that's good you mentioned that today, because sometimes when you mention about networking, sometimes there's people that aren't in a network that we know and we don't know how to bring them, but it's through talking with each other that other people make a connection. So it's good that you talked about that, because all I knew was that you were trying to sell the vegetables, had no idea you were moving in that direction, but you could definitely get help from her for sure.
you go to these workshops and the people, that now the concept is, hey, let's make the most out of a smaller piece of land.
Yes.
And like I said, we had 116 acres. Why not make the most of every acre on this whole place? Why not incorporate ag tourism where you can have your animals, you can have your festivals, you can have your horse trails, you can have your biking, hiking, walking trails, you can have the softball games, you might have a swimming pool. You can make it a community place, because here in rural America, the kids, the youth, they're the key, and they don't have anywhere to go.
And they don't have jobs. You couldn't provide a job. Yeah.
So it's like, it's an avenue where you can hit multiple aspects at one time. Employment, recreation, tourism. You can promote. You can be a staple in your county. And bring people to your county.
Community outreach, everything. I like where you're going there, but how do you go from this big vision? Which most new farmers, they do that. They dream a lot, and then they get lost, in those years from 1 to 5, and they end up quitting, so because they took off too much of a big bite. Or
that's right.
What do you think about that? That's a good goal, but how can you get there?
I think you have to piece it. You have to take it one step at a time. We can go out here now and go get a loan and put up everything we want to do, but are we going to be able to pay it back? With agritourism, the good thing about that is you incorporate something new every year. This year, we might put up a basketball goal. Next year, we might cut out some trails for hiking. The next year, you can do a swimming pool. So it's a gradual thing. So this is nothing that's going to happen overnight. But every year, you can add flowers. You can make different landscape structures. You can add fountains. This is small stuff that you can do over time.
Absolutely.
So that way you don't bite off too big of a chunk, and you're not losing money. Because if you spent a small portion of money this year, you'll look back 3 years later and say, well, that's not even a cost anymore because it's paid.
Yeah.